the madness begin. Welcome to the show, everybody. It is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am your host, Scott Steen, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com. And this young fella with the brand new background, who are you?
I'm Scott Rochelle, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
There you go. And where you at, buddy?
I'm in Las Vegas.
You're in Scranton, aren't you?
I am in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Vegas. Las Vegas.
Very good. And you're staying at the you staying where, Scott?
I'm staying at the MGM.
There you go. Which of course is BetMGM, doing the great special right now. $1,000 free bet. Just check it out. Risk free for all you new players. Get over there, get signed up. Scott, you pretty much financed your trip on the risk free bet, didn't you?
Pretty much, yeah. I ended up having a pretty substantial play on one of my plays of the day last week with the Hornets. They killed the Pelicans. That basically covered it. For fun, though, I was in the airport. I got there early. I was waiting for my flight to start boarding. Decided, you know what? Let me throw in a little parlay that I'm not going to be able to watch any of while I'm on the plane for about 6 hours. And I won. So I hit a 20-something to 1 parlay. So, yeah, so far, so good in Vegas.
Outstanding. JB says, no sheds in Vegas to chill in front of?
No, unfortunately, there's no sheds. I asked around, but I had to settle for a hotel room.
JC Stone says, that's a Motel 6. I don't believe it's a Motel 6 because there's no cinder block walls.
I had to turn the lights on myself, so it definitely wasn't a Motel 6.
Very good. It's very good to be here, guys. Again, BetMGM, make sure you check that out. We got it all in the show notes. All the details are also doing the 200 for 10. Anytime you bet $10 on an NBA game, or at least the first time you do it. I doubt they let you do it like 8 games a day, but
I would be doing it if they let me do it.
The first time you'd put $20 down, $10 down on any NBA game. If anyone makes a 3-pointer, you're in, baby. $200 is credited to your account. So make sure you check out all the details in the show notes. Speaking of the show notes, don't forget to check out everybody here at the Max Wagers Network. Scott, it's not just us anymore, buddy. We got help. And man, do we have some good shows. Make sure you start off your day with Midday Money with Sean Higgs. That comes on at noon Eastern. Then it's Morning Wood with Allie Burns at 1. Chris the King, Chris and Jim doing just parlays at 2. Scott and I are getting close to bringing up the we're at 3 and 3. And then Lenny, Nick, and Tim, 5 p.m. Eastern time, doing game time decisions with all the late breaking news, injury reports, etc. So
you also forgot one thing.
We're both
going to be on another one of Allie's shows later today.
That's right. We're going to be doing. I was getting to the auxiliary stuff where we are going to be trying to defend our honor as Chris King put us in an early hole. Scott, he got up to a 5-0 start last week on the totals. You and I kind of sucking up, bringing up hind teat, as it were. You went 3 and 2. At least you were profitable.
I'll take 3 and 2.
Absolutely. You take 60% each and every day. You'll find yourself in a lot more hotel rooms like that in Vegas, my buddy, if you can hit 60%. So we'll be trying to redeem ourselves tonight and put Chris back in that hole where he belongs. Of course, tomorrow afternoon, right after the show, we're going to be doing our Midwest bracket preview, where Scott and I will be going through the Midwest bracket with a fine-tooth comb. Of course, we'll take questions on anything else that you might have, but
we're going to mostly focus on that region.
Yep. Tim Earl, what's up, buddy? Tim in the house, rocking chairs at Raptors -4.5. Absolutely. Matthew Torvik, what up, Matthew? Good to see you guys. So it's good to be here, Scott. Kind of the calm before the storm yesterday. Not a ton going on. How'd you end up doing? You made a couple grand in flight, basically. So
I did, yeah. Well, technically, I made it in flight. I didn't confirm that I made it until I landed. But either way, definitely a nice day. Also did an NBA podcast yesterday. Went 8-1 ATS. So it was actually a very solid day overall. We won the farm play, which was nice. I ended up winning my play of the day. It was a very good day to go into Vegas for.
Excellent. IC says he hit live bets on the Nuggets and Bucks last night. Bucks always seem to play bad in the third, but great in the fourth. Yeah, not enough time there. Back in the 70s, stayed at a place called the King Albert, an alley motel behind the Barbary Coast. Yikes. Front desk asked if we had weapons. They said no, they handed us machetes. I think that's bullshit, but it's a funny line. That's my dad used to say, I said, you go to a club, and back in his day, I said, what kind of bar was that? He goes, it was a 2 beer bottle joint. He said, one to drink and one to fight with. I tailed some guy in Steen's comments yesterday on Grayson Allen over 1.5. Yep, hit in 3 minutes. Thanks to that guy. Yeah, that was a good hit. He had over 1.5, and I think that's the only shots he took, if I remember the box score right when I was checking that. I think he went for 3 for 3 at 9 points. So boom, cash that ticket. So. All right, let's find out what else was going on yesterday. We did have a lot of exciting stuff. I want to remind you guys, of course, not just to listen to all the shows, but make sure you like and subscribe. I know everybody got subscribed to the Winners and Whiners channel, and then we opened up another channel. So make sure you get over there, make us look good, and get subscribed to Max Wagers Network. This is fun, man. It kind of felt like, you and I were it for a while. We were the whole Winners and Whiners brand, and now we've got like reinforcements, and we've got really good reinforcements. So
I'm sure some people still only come in for the main cavalry, which is us, but we'll see.
We'll see. I don't want to make it a competition, but
it's not a competition. I'm joking. It's a bunch of nice guys that we brought.
It's a bunch of nice fuckers, am I right?
It's a bunch of good handicappers we brought in. Of course, I'm just teasing, and it's nice to have them on board.
Oh man,
we had like 2 years of just us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Give or take 2 or 3.
We pretty much had the run of the joint. You had the upstairs, I had the downstairs. Now we got fucking people bringing they're stopping by the house. What do you guys do? Oh, we're moving in. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was getting a little tired of you. It's a lot of you, man. Every day, 2 hours of Rochelle every day.
Every damn day. You're lucky we don't do weekends.
You know who I feel bad for though is you, because I know
I got to deal with you every day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I know I'm an acquired taste, buddy. I know I'm not for everybody. And if I wasn't for you 2 years ago, I feel bad for you. But yeah, someday we're gonna make it out to Vegas together, and that'll be fun. That'll be a blast. So it's always a competition, says Tim Earl. Well,
I mean, there's different ways to view the sports betting scene. My competition's between myself and the sports book. I don't really care about, if other handicappers do better than me. I'm just trying to make money. That's really it.
I am happy. I don't feel any jealousy when Chris King hits another 8-teamer.
No, I'm jealous I didn't play it.
That's
usually the only.
Exactly right. That's what I feel bad about when I wasn't on there.
Well, that's one thing that kind of annoys me about like gambling Twitter, which is a really toxic place. Everyone just goes, "Oh, I made this many units. You're trash," and it's like, you're supposed to just make money, right? You don't have to roast the other people trying to also make money.
Right.
Yet it's all over the place. It's just weird.
It is a competition. It's us versus the books. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just trying to make money. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it ain't a horse track. It ain't pari-mutuel. I mean, I guess it is. The lines move a little bit, but you know what I'm saying. So
it's okay if all of us at the table if a couple at the table get 20 and we get 21.
It's not a zero. So it's not a zero-sum game.
If the dealer busts, we all win. So that's all that matters.
Exactly right. Stop taking the bus card, or I'm gonna have to move you off third base. That's all I'm saying to you. Scott, let's find out what happened yesterday, shall we? It doesn't, just because there weren't many games doesn't mean that there weren't some people taking it up the rump. You know what I'm saying right here. So let's check it out. Pull out our phones, push 911, and we're going to find out who took it in the shorts and who took it to the bank in today's edition of Call It the Cops. All right, my friend, let's get it fired up, shall we? In the NBA, Clippers plus 7.5 against the Cavs. They missed the go-ahead free throw with 30 seconds left. Here comes overtime. Rarely a friend to the underdogs, and it was not in this one. 7.5, though, Scott. You had to feel decent about overtime. You're like, okay, let's just not completely step on our dicks here, and we're going to be fine. Nope, they stepped on their dicks. Lose by 9. If you had 7.5 there, man, call the cops.
And looking at the second one, if you had the Nuggets and 76ers under 223.5, it was definitely a sweat because they had 223 and the Sixers were trying to hit a game-tying three-pointer. Took a couple of shots, did not work out. They missed all of them. Jokic gets the rebound. You see the clock go from 1 to 0, couple of decimal points there, and they fouled. They fouled them with less than 1 second to go. Jokic made one of the two free throws. Game landed 224.
Oofta. Well, finally, you had the Thunder first half money line plus 320 against the Hornets. They led by 12 after the first quarter. You had to feel good about yourself.
Plus
they were outscored. What's that?
Plus 320.
Yeah. Yeah, they were. You just got to lose by less than 12 the second quarter. That's it.
Mhm.
They didn't. They lost by 13. The guy scored 36-23 in the second quarter, trailed by 1. You know what that means. Your money line, bye-bye. Bye-bye. No push. Not even a push. Plus 320. It's in the wind. We'll see you. Call the cops.
Yeah, it's a damn shame.
Damn shame. Damn shame indeed. And there was some good news, of course. Not just you, but there was other people winning yesterday, Scott. There was other people that were out there, and they were making high-quality bets. Easy cashers. All they had to do was maybe have a little scotch, have a little cigar, and sit back in the rocking chair.
So the first one actually involves the same game that we just talked about from the bad beat section. If you had the over in the Hornets and Thunder game, line was at 229. Each quarter had at least 57 points, and the game landed 250.
Very good. Very good. Scott, you drink scotch? You a scotch drinker?
Not really. I'll have it on occasion, but it's not one of my favorite alcohols.
What's your go-to? What do you order in a bar when you order liquor?
I'm either a vodka or a tequila guy.
Okay, fair enough. If you had the Raptors plus the 4.5, that was a pretty solid play as well, as they went up against the, can we say hapless Lakers now, Scott?
You can say whatever you want. They're bad.
Raptors led by 21 after the first quarter. Played with their food the rest of the way. Didn't fucking matter. They end up winning by 11. Raptors minus 4.5. Never in doubt. Nice.
Yeah, that was my play today. That was definitely nice. I didn't watch any of it, thankfully, because I was on the airplane. But if you had the Kings plus 4 against the Bulls, kind of a similar story to the Raptors game. They led by 20 at the half. They kind of played with their food. But when you're getting 4 and you lead the entire way, it's a rocking chair. They won by 9.
Very nicely done. And we certainly we could have included one other game there, Scott. Any other game stand out for a rocking chair win yesterday?
There was one, but it's the same game that we were going to talk about for the Gambling Hero, so I'm going to transition there.
Fair enough. But, sometimes we don't get there. So
yeah, sometimes we don't.
All right, there you go. Let's check in with the comment section here and see see what's up, see if anybody asking any questions. No Russian vodka. Absolutely. I won when the Broncos signed Wilson. We'll see. Love you guys. JR Black, thanks, man. Seeing keep paying me my future nurse's assistant's way through school. We'll do our best, JR Black. Thanks, buddy. MZ, do we have a Yahoo account to play the free bracket contest?
I have a Yahoo account, but I usually do it for several bracket pools. I'll enter it at some point. I filled out my ESPN one. I still have to tinker with it a little bit. It's not fully done yet. I kind of made my bold bracket first, and I'm going to go from there. You?
I usually just do it through ESPN, sometimes CBS.
How many brackets do you typically make?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
Yeah, give or take. That's kind of where I'm at. So I made one, and I was looking through it, and I'm not going to get too deep into it because we still got to do our own NCAA tournament regional part of it. But I ended up going with my long shot first, and I'm going to work backwards. I got UCLA winning one bracket.
Okay, there you go.
So
Bronco Devil says the difference in Scots. You say play with your food, and I say step on your dicks. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's not
pretty much
not altogether inaccurate. Vandy minus 2.5 tonight, buddy. How about minus 2? James Mount says. Well, first of all,
I'll give Vandy props. I mean, they were awful mid-season, and I can't say turned it around because they didn't make the NCAA tournament, but they've been okay. I mean, they're 17-16, but down the stretch they were fine. They beat Alabama in the first round of the conference tournament. Belmont has gotten a lot of money. Line open up at around 4.5, now down to mostly 2.5.
Yep.
But Belmont's a damn psycho team.
Yep. They're a good team. They've underperformed against the number the last.
They're good, but I mean they got embarrassed by Murray State 3 separate times this season, or 2 separate times. So
they've failed to cover 8 of their last 9, but they've won 7 of those games. So what does that mean when you don't cover in your own conference? It means you're overvalued when it comes to conference play. What are they going to do with Vandy? Fuck, man, I don't.
I'm looking at the injury report because I am curious if the money coming in is injury related. I don't see Scottie Pippen Jr. on the list.
No, Trey Thomas is questionable. That's the only injury mentioned on this team. This is a Belmont team that shoots really well.
Thomas, by the way, averaging just 5.8 points per game.
Yeah, not a real, more of a role player kind of situation. Vanderbilt, fantastic defense. They still get it done with defense, and they get it done with that defense in the SEC. It's Vandy or pass for me.
Yeah, I'm the same way, especially because this is a home tournament, at least for the first couple of rounds. So Vandy's playing at home. They've been a pretty good home team. They've been okay at home, but Belmont, as you said, 2-8 ATS in the last 10. Vandy, though, 9-1 ATS in the last 10. So I kind of like how Vandy's been playing. I'll go with the Commodores.
MZ says UTEP game moved to Saturday. When did that happen? I missed it.
They're too busy mining.
We're doing too busy. What?
The miners.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you said me.
Does a UTEP
what happened? Do you know?
No.
Okay. All right.
That's news to me. MZ brought it up. I am not aware of what he's talking about.
Okay. I knew Colorado State was having transportation problems.
Oh, I was actually thinking about adding that as a last second donkey of the day, but we can if you want to, because that's kind of a unique story. We have a gambling hero planned instead. But do you want to segue? Because that's kind of a ridiculous situation with Colorado State.
Yeah, let's. You want to?
We can just make that the donkey. We both know about it.
We don't really know how it happened. So I mean, yeah, I'm happy to do it. Let's set it up. Let's do it. Let's put up all the fancy stuff they got for us here, Scott. Let's find out who it is. Who could it be? On today's edition, a donkey of the day. Oh no, don't go out now, screen. There we go. Sorry, guys. Boom. Scott, who is it?
So for this one, it's going to be the NCAA, because Colorado State was supposed to end up facing off against Michigan in the first round. Actually, the first game of the real first round, not including the first 4 games. And yet Colorado State apparently never got an email from the NCAA regarding the itinerary. So Colorado State had no idea how it was supposed to be flying to Indy for the tournament. So there's been several reports or rumors as to what exactly happened. It seems like whoever's working for the NCAA forgot to hit the send button on the email, which is something that Steen does every now and then behind closed doors.
Absolutely.
So the NCAA kind of screwed over the Rams by giving them a late notice on how to travel for the actual game, and it just so happens to be the first game of the actual schedule.
I blame the assistant to the traveling secretary. I'm not.
Yeah, that's who you should blame at that point.
That's where the.
Now there are some potential theories that they might postpone the game, move it back maybe a couple of hours, make it fair. I'm not sure how you can get away with that, but I think we would agree this is a massive edge for Michigan, right?
I don't know. They're flying out today.
Yeah, but you still have less time for full practice in the venue and everything like that. The whole scheduling's off.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's definitely a distraction, worst case scenario, and that's something you don't exactly want going into March.
It's not ideal. It's not ideal, but I don't know if
I like Michigan anyway, but it's just not. It's not a great situation for the Rams.
Yep, absolutely. So, all right, let's do this other one because this is the one I want to talk about. I actually had a play on this, not on the. Well, anyway, we'll get into all that. Scott, let's find out who it is. Who is? We haven't done one of these in a while. Sometimes there's just guys that just do it for you. You'll never forget them. Dave Dewerson had a pick 6 to seal our 10-team parlay when I was a kid. I still talk about it, and once a week I'll probably bring that up. Anyway. So you'll never forget that person. You'll never forget who it was. And there was one of those guys last night. If you had this play, you will never forget him. Scott, let's find out who it is. Who is today's gambling hero of the day? So 2 years ago to the day yesterday, Carl Anthony Towns took his mother into the hospital to be admitted for COVID. As most of you probably are aware, she never checked out, succumbing to the illness a couple weeks later. And he dedicated this particular game to her. And Scott, he made it count. He really did, as he went out and poured in. Can I interest you in 60 with the Timberwolves? And holy crap, did they put up some points in that one? It was 75-73 at halftime. It landed 149, 139, 288. I had the Timberwolves to cover. They did that. But if you had the over, man, the rocking chairs, that's like is that the Tears for Fears, the songs from the big chair? Yeah, the rocking chairs don't get any bigger than that right there. So
yeah, but of course, Minnesota covered the spread. Towns at 60. So he's the gambling hero.
32 in the third quarter.
Yep.
Massive. So Cat is the gambling hero of the day. No question. It seems like a good dude, too. Whenever you see him interviewed, seems like a nice guy. So,
well, the issue that people had with his playing career early on was they thought he was soft. But personality-wise, yeah, he seems like a genuinely nice guy.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Scott. So we had some people asking us about some teams. Somebody mentioned they had Gonzaga. I think you and I have made our position on Gonzaga well known.
Well, I saw a question about UConn potentially.
That was the next one I was going to bring up. Go ahead. Go ahead. You want to anything else you want to say about Gonzaga? I mean, they play better defense and they played worse offense than they did last year. So
yeah,
they're due, but they just have this tendency of kind of running out of gas once they make the Final Four. So,
well, I'm going to address the UConn
earlier.
I'm going to address the UConn point. So, I think Gonzaga's playing against UConn in the Sweet 16. I'm not a fan of Arkansas. I think UConn will end up making it to the Sweet 16. Having said that, I'm not sure how they're supposed to beat Gonzaga. Gonzaga just has too much size on the inside. UConn's guards have been okay, and mostly Cole, but besides him, they really have been, I'd say, inconsistent at times. I think Gonzaga's got too much firepower, so I would pick Gonzaga to beat UConn, but I do have UConn beating Arkansas and making it to the Sweet 16.
You have them coming out of that bracket against Duke and Texas Tech.
I got Tech beating Duke.
Okay.
I feel pretty confident about that. I really, really like this Tech team, and I think they will beat Duke. But the question is, do I think that Tech can beat Gonzaga when Gonzaga basically destroyed them earlier this year? It was a couple months ago, but it's the question that kind of has been toying with me. It's that matchup and the Tennessee-Arizona matchup that have kind of given me some problems in my personal bracket filling. But
am I wrong thinking that Gonzaga does better against teams that allegedly have good defenses as opposed to good offenses? When teams try to match them offensively, they have a shot at doing that. But it seems like if teams try to stop them, that doesn't go well.
Yeah, it could be. The thing about Gonzaga is it seems like they're a team that I've mentioned before. When they get punched in the mouth, they tend to roll over.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really known for coming from behind. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, you're right. They're a team that they're a lot like they're like the Steelers, for example, a team.
So the thing is, like, you
have
have to have
defense. They're good.
Of course, any team could have a great game and upset a 1 seed, but for Gonzaga, for example, you need to have a St. Mary's type game where you just drain the entire clock, you make sure there's no transition opportunities, and you play great defense.
Right.
Texas Tech, #1 in defensive efficiency, and they play a bit slow. I think Tech is going to give Gonzaga a serious run for its money. I'm not sure who would win that game, because I do think that Tech will play better than it did against Gonzaga the first time around. But if you want to look for a team that's not Gonzaga to make the Final Four, I would go with Texas Tech.
Okay.
You in that region? Because I know both of us don't exactly like Duke.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way. I haven't done my official bracket yet about whether I really think Gonzaga can lose that one.
I've watched Tech play against Kansas like 3 separate times this season. I think they're a really good basketball team.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody asking about Cleveland State catching, I guess 11 is what I've got it at against Xavier.
I hate that damn Xavier team.
Yeah, they're frustrating to watch, and they're overvalued. They've been overvalued this season. Just going 5-15 in conference, not good, man, against the number. So, it's a home game for them, and that's the good news. I think Cleveland State can keep that within double digits.
I think they can. See, the thing is, people will also look at the home road splits because I mentioned before the NIT is a home tournament for the first couple of rounds. You still got to talk about motivation. Xavier was in the running for a tournament spot. Hell, they were in a tournament spot for about, 80% of the year?
Right.
They fell apart down the stretch. You needed a decent showing in your conference tournament, and you lost to Butler in the first round.
Right.
So even though they're at home, you think Xavier's excited for this game? Probably not. They rolled over and died in the final month of the season.
Man, you got to give me a chance to answer.
No, but I'm saying my stance there. I think they rolled over. What do you think?
Now?
Yeah.
I don't know if they rolled over. They were certainly outclassed by a Butler team. Although Butler, dare I say it, played good for the last month of the season.
They're better late, but it's a game you needed to have. Butler beat you the year prior in the conference tournament. Butler beat you the year prior. You had all the motivation you wanted, but they lost to St. John's by double digits. They lost to Butler. Like, they were just awful down the stretch.
Yeah, this is a team that lost. What did they lose? 6 of their last 7 and failed to cover 7 of the last.
I'm not laying double digits with them when they lost 6 of their last 7.
No, not a chance. And Cleveland State wasn't playing great, but you know what? I'll take them. I think
they got a shot to win the game. I'm not going to pick them to win the game, but I think they got a shot at it.
Yep. I think the comment section is kind of on our side here too with Cleveland State with the Vikings. Scott, I'm going to talk to you, and I haven't seen anybody ask this, but I'm going to talk about this Utah State Oregon game.
Okay.
Is that the king of all trap games? Oregon catching 4.5 from Utah State. Utah State, the 5th best team in the Mountain West.
I mean, I'm still going to pick Oregon. It's definitely a trap, except money's come in on Oregon. So it's not like people have fully unloaded with Utah State money. So right. It does seem definitely odd, but the fact that the line has dropped does kind of suggest that it's not as big of a trap as you might think it is. Just because you'd assume the Sharps would be all over Utah State here, right?
That would be
just based on the actual line opening.
Right.
Now, yeah. I'm assuming the main reason is because Oregon's best player in Will Richardson's out indefinitely.
Right.
With an illness. So I'm assuming they're factoring that in. I like the under as my favorite play here because with Richardson being out, I'm not sure how Oregon's going to look. Yeah. Utah State offensively has also been a mess for a decent portion of the year, or at least they're a slow-paced team. The main reason is the fact that Oregon's missing its leading scorer.
That's fair enough.
But I think I'm going to lean Oregon anyway, mostly because I really just think this Utah State team is capable of winning, but not by margin. I think it'll be close.
Get your bananas out and stick them in that tailpipe firmly, guys.
Yeah.
Although, I'm with you. I just don't see it. This Utah State team had some decent victories in the Mountain West, but they were never considered part of the Big Four, So, David, good, so beautiful in Tucson. You know what, dude? It's one of the few days I don't envy you. It's like 73 and sunny here. It's perfect. So, I'm okay. What's
you agree with the under though?
Yeah. I think at 145, sure. Yeah.
With one team missing its best offensive player, I kind of have to like the under.
And Utah State plays good defense. They're certainly better than better defensively than they are offensively. I would say that. Somebody asked about Utah, or is that the same game?
I think that was the Utah State thing.
Utah State down to -4. Okay, cool. Mountain West teams scare me come tournament time. They never cover. No, they don't cover. They don't win. We touched on that yesterday, Lawrence, and you'll hear us talk about it a lot more.
I will push back a little bit because I know Colorado State did make, I want to say, the final of the NIT last year. So the minor tournaments, they're not bad. The main tournament, they're awful in.
Okay, well,
I'm making that distinction.
So you can't hate Utah State and put them under that umbrella, is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is Mountain West teams, there's a stigma, which I've kind of promoted for the last week and change, that Mountain West teams you should fade in the NCAA tournament. It's not true in the NIT and other tournaments.
Yep.
The Mountain West can actually compete there.
Very good. Michigan to win is what I have. I think we're on board with that too.
Yeah, I like Michigan. I just think that matchup-wise, besides Roddy, Colorado State doesn't have many guys. And with Dickinson being 7 feet tall and he's going to give Roddy a problem with his height, Michigan has multiple guys who are averaging 10-plus points per game. I believe they have 4 or 5. So they have the scoring power, and we know they have the better athletes and the much more talented team based on recruits. I think Michigan wins pretty handily.
I agree. I agree. Bill McDonald wants to know about Southern or A&M Corpus Christi.
We're going to get to that
Bill,
game later.
spoiler alert. We're maybe going to talk about that one here a little bit later. Yeah, it lost to Memphis in the NIT final.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I forgot Memphis won the NIT, but I do remember Colorado State being in the final.
Scott, if they play one shining moment when you win the NCAA tournament, what do they play when you win the NIT?
It's a good question. Is that a joke or is that a genuine question?
No, it's a well, I was going to try. I was setting you up for a joke if you had something funny.
I don't know. I got to think about that one.
Good chat. Remind me not to team up with you on Family Feud.
I mean, if there was a survey of 5 answers, I'd like to see that survey. I'll tell you that much.
Anybody else? Any other games come across the transom there, Scott, that you've seen people asking about? Anything
well, I have a play today on the under in the North Texas game. I know we talked about Texas State team total under at around 54.5, 55.5.
Right.
I don't know if it's much of a discussion because we're on the same page completely, but I mean, North Texas has made us a lot of money with opposing team total unders.
Speaking of paying for your trip to Vegas,
yeah.
hello, Mean Green. What a great name for a team too. I'm going back to the window to get some more of that Mean Green.
The name's even better when you only score 36 points in a conference tournament
game. Yep, absolutely. Tennessee versus Michigan, game 2.
That's what I got.
Yeah, agreed. Indiana -4.
I picked Tennessee in that matchup against Michigan. I think Michigan would keep it close. Once again, I'm trying to step away from my usual Rick Barnes, Bill Self just stigma because I'm looking at the actual teams.
Yep.
I really think both those teams can make the Final Four.
Okay. Wow. There you go. Bronco Devil says I'm a loser by the Beatles. That was my theme song. We had to pick a theme song for last week's Performance on Alley show, and that was mine. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw me put I'm a loser. Yeah, that was not good.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting team, the Vols. Yeah, they absolutely they gave Dukes the Vols 2 seed, no question about it. But we talked about that yesterday. Not a ton of difference between the 2 and the 3, but there's definitely a respect card that can be played there, and I expect them to be doing that. I tell you, no respect at all about not getting that 2 seed.
It's pretty appealing to set up Coach K versus Izzo in the second round. It would be. I'm not going to lie though. It'd be really, really funny and kind of fitting if just Davidson beat Michigan State. Yep. So you're just talking about this whole like coaching matchup and building it up, and then Davidson just beats them because I don't think Michigan State's very good.
And I'm worried this. I always tell people not to get too excited by mid-majors performances in the tournament. I'm fighting not to go the other way because Davidson shit the bed in the last 2 minutes. Of their conference finals. So now I'm down on Davidson, and I'm worried I won't be able to take a completely clear-eyed look at them and take their body of work into account.
The spread on that one, I think, is a pick'em.
Is that what it is right now?
I believe it's a pick'em now. But I guess my question for you, though, if you want to make a case for Davidson, assume that Davidson doesn't give up 3 and 1s in the final 2 minutes.
Right.
And they win the game.
Yeah.
What seed are they?
I think they improved by 1 spot.
You think they only moved down 1?
I do. I think the committee gave them a lot of credit for their body of work.
Well, I was going to say, because you can make an argument that you might be getting a lot of value with Davidson because they're better than their overall seeding. You can make that case.
What do you think they should be? Where do you think they would have been if they win that game?
Well, right now they're a 10, correct?
Yes.
I personally think they would have been an 8.
Okay.
I think they would have been an 8. Now, of course, people are going to be down on Davidson because of how the most recent game against Richmond went. But I'm just saying, if you want to talk about misseedings or, things that go your way, we talk about it all the time. How if this team didn't blow this game, what would the spread actually be? I am curious if Davidson would have won the conference tournament
and in
some hypothetical universe they were still playing Michigan State, would Davidson be favored? If they didn't blow the conference title game, it's possible.
It's possible if they win, especially if they cover or win by double digits. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So you might be looking at a situation where Davidson might be the value play.
Let me ask you this: is there any team out there at all that would rather be an 8, 9 versus a 10?
No, because you don't want to play the 1 seed second round.
Correct. So for me, I'm happy. If I'm a Davidson fan, I'm happy they're not up in the 8-9 line because they certainly would have moved to that line. They wouldn't have moved to a 7, and they would have moved up at least 1. So whether you're right, whether I'm right, they're still in the line of death, squaring off with Gonzaga in the second game.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm looking at the Michigan State Davidson matchup, the truth is I'm probably going to hedge it in my brackets. I'm just going to have Duke beating everybody out of that matchup. So even if I lose 1 point on the Michigan State Davidson game, because I think that's actually a toss up, I think Duke's better than both teams. So I'm not going to get too hurt by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
That's kind of my approach.
Fair enough. Arizona, Montreal over 6, Scott. What do you think?
I'm sorry. What was the game?
Arizona, Montreal over 6.
I'm not taking an under with the Coyotes.
Can't do it.
And they played yesterday, but you're looking at them since really the All-Star break. They've just been scoring goals at will.
Coyotes not exactly getting much value out of what's his fuck from Colorado. The goalie.
Wait, who are you talking about?
The Coyotes bring in the goalie from Colorado last year.
I think Colorado brought in Arizona's goalie.
Where did okay,
Kempfer went to Colorado.
No, where did yeah, I know that. No, where did
Grubauer went to the Kraken.
Oh, went to the Kraken, that's right. Sorry.
That's why you were confusing me.
Yeah, it was the wrong. I had him on the wrong.
Yeah, Colorado got Arizona's former goalie.
I had him on the wrong shitty team. No, I knew Arizona got okay.
I don't mind Arizona team total over there. Canadians goalie wise, since Price has been AWOL the entire year, they've been awful. And the Coyotes score a bunch of goals. So I don't mind a team total over there too.
Good. UTEP with the points tonight. I'm a fan.
I thought somebody said UTEP's game got postponed.
I looked around a little bit for that.
I'm going to say, didn't that come up earlier? I thought somebody said that game got postponed.
If somebody's, I've got a, yeah, I like UTEP there. We'll see when it's going to be played. First total over is a way to go. Or first period over. I follow a guy that tracks us, and I haven't taken time to look at him. Scott, you follow first period or first tens at all?
I've been betting a decent amount of first tens for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, doing good.
I'm 11-1.
Excellent. Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Came out of nowhere. Just randomly started backing the Devils goal first 10. Not every game, but most games. I've been segueing a bit with the Maple Leafs, etc., because the Maple Leafs goalie situation is a disaster. But yeah, I think I've bet it 11 times or maybe like 10. So whatever. I've lost 1 time. So I've been quite profitable.
Like Nashville at home tonight against Pittsburgh?
I have a hard time betting against Pittsburgh. I just think Pittsburgh's the better team.
Even at home, huh?
Yeah, it's hockey. Would we agree that home ice advantage is probably the least important in all sports? Maybe baseball, maybe
baseball, but of course then you have the field factor, the stadium factor. So yeah, this is a Nashville team that's been decent at home, but not fantastic. And Pittsburgh's playing really good hockey right now. It's hard to play against them. Yeah,
I'm going to segue back to Broncos question because he wanted to know about any 13 upsets or any 14 upsets in the bracket. Have you filled out your bracket yet, or you're still working on it?
Still working on it, but I'll go through them, Scott. 13-4 in the West is Vermont, Arkansas. That's a puncher.
I think that one's tempting, but I'd still lean Arkansas.
Sure. The 14 is Missouri State over Texas Tech. No,
hell no.
Hard pass there. Moving on to the East, you've got Akron and UCLA.
No.
Maybe, but I mean, I'm not.
UCLA's winning what, 15?
I like it better than Yale over Purdue. That's the 14-3. How about that?
I like the Yale one more because I hate Purdue, but Purdue's going to win that game too.
Colgate over Wisconsin on the other side, 14-3 there.
Wisconsin is starting to show signs of being an overseeded team. But Colgate is a team that I watched against Navy. The thing is, I don't have many great athletes, but neither do Wisconsin. But I think the one thing that benefits the Badgers in the spot is that the game is in Milwaukee. So Wisconsin should have a pretty nice reception there. Would you agree?
Yep, I agree.
I think that matters. You?
The 13-4, yes, I do, of course. I think the 13-4 in that same bracket. South Dakota State, Providence, Scott. Well, no.
That's going to be my pick.
If you follow us, You've been on the Jacks for a couple months now, so
It will probably be the most common 13/4 upset called, but once again,
is it funny to watch? Is it funny to watch all the talking heads like discover the Jackrabbits?
Yeah. Well, I just meant
Wow.
in general, it's going to be like, which one are you going to pick? And a lot of upset articles, whatever, all going to point to the Jackrabbits. But for example, I said before, you're looking at the lines, and UCLA as a 4 is laying double digits. You're
Mhm.
looking up, and you could see Texas Tech as a 3 seeds laying a bunch of points. You're looking at Illinois laying about 8. Providence is laying about 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it seems like the odds makers are expecting a toss-up game. If you're expecting a toss-up game, it definitely is worth a shot taking one of the double-digit seeds.
Could also be a chance to really buy low on Providence.
It could be.
Here's the other game people are talking about, the 14-3 game, and that's Loyola Chicago against Tennessee. Everybody talks about how you hate to play this Loyola Chicago team.
But we're starting off with the Ohio State game. Tennessee would be second round.
What's that?
Tennessee would be they'd play Villanova second round. They play Ohio State first round.
I'm talking about first round matchups, 14 versus 3s.
Yeah, you said Loyola.
Yeah.
Loyola plays Ohio State. Loyola's the 10.
What?
Loyola Chicago's the 10. They play Ohio State.
Who is that? Oh, they're playing Longwood. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm looking at the CBS bracket here that just says LO.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, surely there's not another LO.
I like Loyola to beat Ohio State. That's one of my favorite plays on the first round card. It's a rare spot where the double-digit seed has a higher KenPom ranking than the lower rating seed.
Yep.
So I'm going to take the double-digit seed there. I think Loyola can beat Villanova.
On their best day, they can.
I think they can.
Villanova's a better team, but
they are. Except Villanova's the team that I've watched recently. They won the conference title. Did they look good? I mean, not really. They barely beat St. John's. They looked okay against UConn, and they won a rock fight against Creighton. But Villanova's a team that shoots a lot of threes, relies a lot on free throw shooting. I do think in a rock fight, Loyola could give Villanova some problems.
Here's another one I've seen a little bit of chatter about, and that's Chattanooga and Illinois.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either. I know Chattanooga's got kind of a force there in the middle.
They needed a 40-footer to beat Furman?
Yeah, I know. And
at the end of the day, it comes down to, even though I'm not an Underwood guy, can your mid-major team even pretend to guard Coburn? Probably not. So I think Illinois is just going to dominate on the glass.
Well, they've got the dude from KU there, the transfer from KU.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
do you think he can guard Coburn?
I think he has a better chance than your average mid-major 6'9" center.
Okay.
So I think he'll have a better time of it, but I don't think there's not very many people right now that can guard Coburn.
You still have Carbello. You got a couple of solid players for Illinois. The roster itself is fine. The issue is the coach. But I do think it'll be close. I'm not going to lay the 8 with Illinois.
No.
But I do think they'll get enough rebounds, and Coburn will do enough offensively to potentially get Chattanooga's center into foul trouble. And once again, mid-majors, if you get into foul trouble, you're basically screwed. I think Illinois does enough to win this game by 5, but I would take the points with Chattanooga. You?
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm with you. They can also shoot a little bit too. So I wonder about that Illinois 3-point defense sometimes. I really do. Mm. Chris Lyon says Sunday all unders in the NCAA. Is that a thing?
Well, there was a huge thing last year, which I'm not sure how far it tracks back, but first half unders in the first 4 and the first 2 days, or the 2 days of the round of 64, hugely profitable.
Okay.
Huge.
Good tip.
First half unders. Very
quality tip. Thanks, Chris. And thanks, Scott, for remembering that from last year as well. I like Arizona versus Illinois game 3.
Who versus Arizona? Houston?
He said Illinois.
You got it.
So he's got Illinois over Houston.
Oh, I actually have Houston over Illinois. I think that game's a toss-up too, but I really expect Houston to just pressure the hell out of these Illinois guards, and I think that Illinois eventually is going to crumble. Houston's missing a bunch of guys, but I really like that Houston team. And I've been down on Illinois for the entire season, but which coach would you rather have? Would you rather have Underwood or Sampson?
Well, I mean, the only problem with you and Sampson is you're not old enough to remember when he underperformed at Oklahoma and Indiana. So
he was okay at Indiana. He got some sanctions because of Eric Gordon's recruiting, but he was okay.
If you're not winning national championships, you're not okay in Indiana.
Okay, but I'm asking though, would you rather have Underwood or rather have Sampson?
That's it for me. I don't care.
I think Houston might be favored in that game.
It's possible. Depends on how the first games go. Don't sleep on this UAB team, by the way. They're not awful. They can score with the best of them, Scott.
They have one really, really good player in Jordan Walker, but that's why I have a problem. I think Houston is such a terrible matchup for UAB. Like if UAB was facing Providence or like one of these other teams, I'd probably pick them. But Houston's going to dominate the glass. They're going to pressure. They're going to throw unique defensive looks at you. If you limit Walker, can anybody else beat you?
Nope.
I don't think so. So I think Houston's just a bad matchup for UAB.
So my advice for UAB in that game: don't miss.
Yeah, good advice.
Don't miss. David Good said that the UTEP game is still on Scores and Odds, but not on either one of his apps.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that it got moved. I'm pretty sure it got moved to Saturday.
So how does that work exactly?
No idea.
I don't know how that fits in with it.
I'll ask the people in the comment section though. Would you rather have Underwood, Illinois' coach, or Sampson as Houston's coach? Who do you think's better? I think it's Sampson. I don't think it's close, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Houston there. Now, I did see somebody asking about 12-5s, and I saw another question on what's the furthest I think that a first four team is going to go. I like Indiana beating St. Mary's. Now, are they going to beat UCLA? I don't think so. I think UCLA is too good, and I do think Indiana is going to beat Wyoming tonight. I think they'll beat St. Mary's. St. Mary's I like as a team. They're still extremely slow. They're good, but I do think that Jackson Davis is a pretty big matchup problem for St. Mary's to deal with. It's not a run, but I have them winning a tournament game. I think Rutgers or Notre Dame can also beat Alabama. I'm not picking either of them to beat Texas Tech. So when you're talking about which team can make the furthest run of a play-in team, I would say Indiana, because I think they have a better chance of beating UCLA than Rutgers or Notre Dame have of beating Texas Tech. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. I'm much higher on Indiana than I am either Rutgers or Notre Dame, even though they're on the 11 line. Indiana and Wyoming are on the 12.
Yeah.
You give Wyoming any shot tonight?
I'm going to give them a shot because they're a good team. I mean, Maldonado is still a really good point guard. Like they could get really solid guard play, but once again, do I think that Wyoming is anybody who can truly match up with Jackson Davis? I don't. I think Jackson Davis is the best player on the court. He's probably going to be a lottery pick. And Indiana, they've lost a lot of close games this year, but they also played in arguably the best conference because the Big East got 9 teams in.
Right.
And Wyoming, as we've seen in the Mountain West past, they look good in conference play. They didn't really play many people out of conference, and they kind of stumbled down the stretch. So I think Indiana wins a close game at first. They blow it open late. They'll win by 7.
Okay.
Give or take.
Yeah. There was somebody just talked about being a one possession game. I get that, John Cena, but I think with scramble points and the desperation, we talked about it in the conference tournaments, and you see it transfer even more into the big dance. That if they're down, 3, 4, 2 seconds left, they're fouling. They're absolutely fouling. Or 4 or 5.
I'm also looking at which teams are leaking oil entering the tournament. Indiana was playing really well in the conference tournament. They barely lost to Iowa. They basically blew the game. Like they had it. Wyoming needed a 3-pointer in the final 20 seconds to beat UNLV in the first round. I don't like how Wyoming's played down the stretch, personally.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Joe Lunardi picks Wyoming to beat him. There you go.
That's why Lunardi does the bracketology, not the actual brackets.
No, okay. Notre Dame played tough versus Virginia Tech, down 5 with 3 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
You like this Notre Dame team? They're a little banged up, right?
I find that game an absolute coin flip between them and Rutgers, which is why the spread is literally like 1 or pick 'em, depending where you shop around. The ACC is so bad, though. Like, going into the NCAA tournament, I tend to find 1 or 2 conferences to back and 1 and 2 to fade, where I'm looking at the conference saying, I know your conference sucks. Right now, it's the ACC. I think the ACC is just a terrible conference.
They got fewer teams in the Mountain West. Think about that for a minute.
But that's the point. So you're looking at Notre Dame and saying
the conference of Duke and North Carolina, et cetera, they got 3 teams in.
Now you're looking at the ACC. I do like Virginia Tech. I think that's a good team. I like what I saw lately. I think they're good. I think they're going to beat Texas. I think they might actually win a couple of games. But Duke, I don't like. They might win a couple of games anyway because of their whatever. North Carolina might win the first round game against Marquette. But you're looking at Notre Dame and how this team was, 11-5 in conference play? What were they? I think they were 11-5 in conference play.
I just had it. I lost it. Sorry, bud.
Let me pull it up for a second. Were they 11-5? Or they were 15-5? Sorry, 15 they were 15-5 in conference play. I undersold them. Yeah, they were very good in conference play. But that's my point: is that they were tied with North Carolina for the second best record in conference play, which tells you the ACC isn't very good. So Rutgers definitely is more battle tested. They played a bunch of quality teams. The issue with Rutgers is their home road splits. So it seems like a coin flip game. I am going to go Rutgers, though. They've been in a lot of close games. I trust Rutgers. I trust Rutgers more in a close game than Notre Dame, in my opinion. But once again, it's really just a coin flip. You?
Yeah, I'm. That's the thing. I'm probably going to lean Rutgers, but it's a very close lean from either one of those teams could win. I don't see either one of them making a deep run. I know there's some Golden Dome fans out there, and I wish you the best because I'm not probably going to be invested in them. So
I'm not roasting Notre Dame. Like,
no. That's
fine. It's just...
no, and they could make a Sweet 16 run. It could happen. They played good enough basketball at times this season.
All I know is down the stretch. I don't know if there's many players in college I'd rather have taking a final shot than Ron Harper Jr. from Rutgers. He's made so many big shots in like 1-possession games or tie games in the final 10 seconds of conference games.
Right.
He's a guy you want the ball in his hands late. I'm not sure Notre Dame has that guy who, if you need a bucket with down 1 with 10 to go, if they really have that guy. I'm not sure they do.
Yeah. And Rutgers has a couple of nice wins. We talk about them, of course, in their amazing home record, but they had some nice road victories as well. They beat Wisconsin straight up. They covered against Purdue, and they won. They beat Indiana, so they have had some. They had some decent wins. Again, you just don't know. Notre Dame really strong in the ACC. ACC not really strong. So what does that tell you? Well, we're about to find out. We're about to see as a couple of the also rans in their respective conferences go at it. So
I'm basically taking a stand. I'm making the argument that the Big Ten is a much better conference than the ACC, which isn't a hot take. But when you have these teams matching up, I'm going to gravitate towards the team that's played the better schedule this season.
What, Rutgers finished 7th?
I believe so.
So you've got the third place team against the 7th best team?
Well, you can also make the argument that a 22-10 team. You can make an argument, though, that a 22-10 team is basically a pick 'em against an 18-13 team. So what does that tell you?
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That tells you all you need to know right there. So, if it weren't for that trend, Notre Dame been playing the hell out of overs.
I see memorabilia asking me about Virginia Tech against Texas. I know I just roasted the ACC. I really like that Virginia Tech team.
Yep.
It seemed like it took them half a year to figure out how to play together, but they look really good. Texas is imploding down the stretch. And Virginia Tech, very good three-point shooting team. I like that team.
Bronco Devil said, who's going to beat this Final Four? Zags, Baylor, Nova, Kansas.
Well, you mentioned all the ones.
Yep. Except
I don't think Baylor's getting there. Actually, no, you said Nova. Nova's a 2.
Yeah, that's the Arizona bracket.
I think that Baylor's going to lose to... I got UCLA, actually. I think UCLA pulls the upset in the Sweet 16. Nova, I'm not a fan of. They killed Tennessee in the regular season, which kind of gives me a bit of a hard time. but they might have to face off against Loyola and Tennessee and the 1 seed in their section. It's a pretty brutal draw for Villanova. I'm not picking them to make the Final Four.
Fair enough. Memorabilia has Virginia Tech as well. This Virginia Tech team, I think that's a bad matchup for Texas because Texas play good defense. You know what they don't do? They don't play perimeter defense extremely well.
And they also can't score, so that's not going to help.
Yeah, which that would be the spot you'd be able to take advantage against Virginia Tech. But this Virginia Tech team's they can shoot it from downtown.
They can, and they also have a bit of interior presence because their big man, who was very good, missed a portion of the year, and they kind of fell apart. But since he came back, they've been solid. But all I know is, just to quickly wrap it up, if you're looking for a double-digit seed that could make the Sweet 16, that has a decent path, I would say Virginia Tech. Because I've been anti-Purdue all season long, and I think Purdue is a team that would fumble that type of game away. South Dakota State's interesting because they'll play a track meet with Iowa, and maybe they can outscore them. But my favorite double-digit seed to make the Sweet 16 would have to be Virginia Tech. You?
Yep, I agree. That's hard to argue with, and they've got a decent path. They've got to go up against 2 teams that traditionally underperform in the NCAA tournament in Texas and Purdue. So we'll see what happens. All right, buddy, let's get to it. It's time, kids. It's Tuesday. It's time to put on those Tuesday overalls, strap them up tight, put your straw hat on, climb aboard your John Deere, take the keys out and fire that bad boy up because once again, kids, it is time to bet the farm. Scott, how'd we do yesterday?
So we had the Hornets team total over, and they went well over. Nice, easy winner.
Judah Banjos! Yeehaw! And keeping with our yeehaw theme, yeehaw, Scott, what do we got for today?
We're going to Texas.
Yeehaw!
Well, technically, we're going with 2 teams in Texas because they're not playing the game in Texas. But you know what I mean?
Yeehaw.
It's a first 4 game, damn it, between Texas Southern and Corpus. And we're going to take Texas Southern minus 3.5. You'll get the efficiency numbers. Texas Southern is a lot better. You talk about offense. Texas Southern ranks 270th in KenPom. Corpus ranks 287. Texas Southern ranks 108th in defensive efficiency. Corpus ranks 181st. Texas Southern also better at rebounding. Texas Southern ranks 35th in rebounding rate. Corpus ranks 73rd. And if you want to talk about the smaller team that's going to be making its grand appearance in front of a national audience, Texas Southern's been there before. They made the tournament last year. They lost to Michigan. Corpus has not made the tournament since 2007. So those bright lights might seem a little bit brighter. I'll take the team that's been in the tournament on a regular basis for the past decade. I'll take Texas Southern minus 3.5.
There you go. Very good. If I remember right, Texas Southern kept it close for at least like a little bit of the first half. They
hung around with Michigan. They hung around.
I was thinking that. I think I had that on my brain. So there you go, kids. That's going to do it for the show. That's going to do it for Bet the Farm. We like Texas Southern minus 3.5 over Texas A&M Corpus Christi. We think they travel to Dayton and get it done. All right. So, guys, have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with us over the extra minutes. We went into stoppage time here, Scott. So, pretty happy about that. We're having some fun. Don't forget to check us out tonight on Total Chaos with Allie Burns. That'll be on, I don't know, somewhere around 7:30 Eastern time when she gets it all put together. So make sure you check that out as well. Check us out tomorrow afternoon. We'll be going through the Midwest bracket and check out everybody else doing their thing right here on the Max Wagers Network. Thanks for joining us, and you guys have a great day. Let's get it started with a roar. Good luck on all your plays today. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Scott and I, once again, will do our very best to help you in your journey to head back to the window. Take care, everybody.